Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and hello, Lukhanyo. It's wonderful to have you here on our live presentation today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Louise. It's good to be here. Morning, Dara.
Yes. It was so good to finally meet you. Like we've said just before we started, I've heard a lot of stories about, and I've seen the emails and things backwards and forwards, but I've never got to the opportunity to speak to you. So thank you for that.
Thanks a lot.
And it's nice to be connecting with you after a very long time. I think the first time I met you must have been about 2010. And then we went on a trip to the Orange River in 2012. And I had the privilege of taking you to the Ochrabis Falls, where you looked nervously over the edge, and also getting you onto a boat crossing the Orange River for the first time.
Yes,
so
I still remember.
It was fun.
It was. Thanks.
So a lot has happened since then, Lukhanyo. You guys have been building quite a remarkable entity with the Grower Development Company. And it will be very nice to have you join. It's great to have you here to present your Vision50. So, yes, please go ahead.
Thanks, Luz, and thanks for having us and having us as the Grower Development Company on the program. It's good to share some good news and some developments since we last met in 2010 in terms of what we have been doing as the industry to drive transformation and to ensure development, and most importantly, for an inclusive participation of our Black citrus producers. Thanks a lot. And as mentioned that the Citrus Growers Association have adopted the Vision260 last year in their strategic session. And from Vision260, the Grower Development Company have also adopted Vision50. That is the inclusive participation of our Black growers in terms of the output expected by 2030. So in the next 10 years, we'll be monitoring the performance of our Black producers in terms of their output for the three segments of market, being export market, local market, and juicing. And also, I think our Vision50 is also in line with the Agriculture Agro-Processing Master Plan that was signed off by the fruit industry in support of the Minister of Agriculture in terms of the master plan. And on the master plan, you will have a chapter that talks on transformation that reflect the output, expected output of the Black producers in terms of contributing to the master plan. And the 19%, for some reason, it's equivalent to the 50 million cartons and 50 million output that we are expected as the citrus industry to contribute towards Vision260 as part of the target for the citrus industry at large.
Very awesome. So, Lukhanyo, so how did the development company start, and how does it work? How does the development company work and fit into the whole citrus industry?
The development company was established in 2016. But before that, within the Citrus Growers Association, there was a transformation portfolio, of which I did work with the Citrus Growers Association for a period of 5 years in that portfolio. And the purpose of that portfolio was to ensure that there's an inclusive participation of our Black citrus producers in the entire country. And in 2010, as Louisa mentioned, where we met, in 2010, then the Black growers requested to the CGA board to have a voice of the Black producers, and the CGA board agreed. And the Citrus Development Chamber was then established. And after the Citrus Development Chamber was established, I was working very close with the chamber. And the reason working close with the chamber, I wanted to understand what are the projects that we can embark on in terms of ensuring that we have profitable and sustainable business citrus producers on the ground. Then in 2013, we then conducted a situational analysis whereby we want to know exactly what kind of support is required by our Black producers, given the fact that most of them, they receive their land through different land reform programs. Therefore, after conducting that, we visited about, I think by then, 118 businesses. And we asked a number of questions. After compiling that report, the chamber again requested to the CGA to then have this company being formed, the CGA Grower Development Company, and be capacitated and be resourced in order to be able to implement the outcomes coming from the situation analysis. Then 2016, the Grower Development Company was then formed and was launched by the then Minister of Agriculture on the 18th of March. And the purpose and the core mandate was to drive transformation and contribute to the development of the black citrus producers. But also, what is important, to work with the group of the CGA group of companies. So the Grower Development Company is one of the CGA group of companies, and its core mandate is to drive transformation and development and to ensure the inclusive participation of our black producers. But also importantly, as the assigned AAMP, the CGA Grower Development Company is also supporting the implementation of the Agriculture Agro-Processing Master Plan.
Okay, interesting.
Wow. So you've actually been, you said it was established 8 years ago on the 18th of March. So it's 8 years now in a few days' time. So yes, that's quite a long time, and you guys have made pretty serious progress. So you know that you are aiming for 50 million cartons. It's exciting.
Yes, you are right. It's quite, and I think it's very important and good to have a target, because as we implement our programs and initiatives, at least we know that what we are targeting for, and we know what kind of support is required. If you look at the Vision60, the CGA have identified the 8 areas that they will be focusing on. And the Grower Development Company align with that. They've also identified to say, if CGA is working on logistics, on market access, and all other areas that enable all producers for their fruit to have a smooth sailing to the ports for export, what is the Grower Development Company going to do in terms of ensuring that our black citrus producers also participate in that process? So we've got programs to assist our growers with compliance in terms of accreditation, so that they can access all the markets that the CGA is opening. And also we do work very close with the Department of Agriculture at the national level and at the provincial level, and also the state-owned businesses like the National Agriculture Marketing Council, PPECB, to ensure that our growers benefit from all the services that those institutions are providing. And also from our side, we do have annual grant funding from the levy that we disperse through the growers in support of the Vision50, in terms of assisting them with inputs, in terms of fertilizer and chemicals, assisting them with diesel and electricity, assisting them with packing cost, and also ensuring them that they participate fully to the value chain that are being opened up there.
Okay, great stuff.
So what is the health of the black growers, the citrus industry in South Africa at the moment? Is the industry healthy on that side? Do you have any feedback on that?
Pardon?
How is the health of the citrus industry with black growers at the moment in South Africa? Is it growing? Is it a healthy part of the sector?
Yeah, it's growing, because as I've mentioned that in 2013 we were sitting at about 118 black citrus producers in the entire country, but now we're sitting at 124. And out of 124 of them, 78 of them, they've been exporting since. And what we are doing now, we're categorizing our producers, those who are exporting and those who have the potential to export, those who are new, so that we can develop and have different programs that will support them in terms of our farmer support program. Because our aim is to have all our producers being able to export their fruit to different export market and export destination, that the entire citrus industry is opening up for all the citrus producers in the country.
And is it only in South Africa, or does Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana, and Mozambique also fall under you as well?
In terms of that, currently we are only focusing on South Africa. Yes, Citrus Growers Association of Southern Africa, it also involves Botswana, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. But for transformation, we're only focusing on the current crop of the black growers in South Africa.
Okay, interesting. Okay, fantastic. Would you like to get into your presentation?
So yes, we can probably start with the presentation, Lukhanyo, if you are ready.
Yes, I'm ready. You can pull up the presentation.
Okay.
There we go.
You will just have to prompt me for when I need to change the slide for you, please.
Okay, thanks.
Right, it's up there. You are welcome
Can go
to
to the
tell
next
us
slide.
about this.
Pardon?
Yeah,
There we go.
You're welcome to go. Just tell me when I must move on, and if there's any questions, we'll stop you, or if I must go back, you'll just have to guide me through this.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. This first slide is just to show where do we fit in terms of the citrus family and the CGA Grower Development Company. You would see from the group of companies, the CGA Grower Development Company is one of the subsidiaries of the CGA, working very close with Citrus Academy and the rest of other groups of companies in terms of the work that you are doing. Next slide. That's the background. As I've mentioned, the CGA Grower Development Company was established by the CGA, and its core mandate is to promote transformation and collaboration with a group of companies, but also providing development support to all Black-owned enterprises. And as mentioned, it also support the implementation of the agriculture agro-processing master plan. Next slide. Coming back to Vision 60 versus Vision 50 by 2032. As mentioned, that this is the vision that was adopted by the CGA in their last strategic session to say by 2032, the industry should have exported about 260 million cartons to different market destinations. And this Vision 50 also comes into play in terms of the CGA Grower Development Company, that from our side, the Black growers' contribution to Vision260 will be 50 million output that will be exported and will be sent to different market destinations by 2032. And this Vision 50 is in line with the agriculture agro-processing master plan, as we are expected that the Black growers must contribute 19%. That is equivalent to the 50 million that is a target by 2032. So already we are starting to make counts in terms of the output coming from the Black growers each and every season, so that we monitor as to say how much output, so that it can also guide us in terms of what kind of support will be required, what kind of resources, and what kind of capacity that will be required for us to achieve our target by 2032. Next slide.
Is there stats coming up as to where we're sitting at the moment and what is planned?
Yes, what we're doing at Devil, annually we do collect harvesting record after the season to look at the performance of our producers to all three segments of market: export market, local market, and choosing. And those statistics we're putting together as a build-up phase to Vision 50, so that we can be able to see what is the output, because those output will also advise us as to say what kind of support and what emphasis must we put in terms of ensuring and improving the output coming from our producers. I mentioned that the target group for Vision 50 is the Black-owned farms, partnership between Black and commercial farmers, and Black-owned farms that are managed by commercial farmers and state-owned land, and also we're looking at the fallow land. If it's in the hand of the Black producers, can we develop, and it's in the area that is suitable, can we develop all that particular land? And also we're looking at the green fields in terms of the new developments. Next slide.
What is it? What is a greenfield?
The greenfield, it's the new plantation at all from scratch of citrus. So we're looking if a certain community or certain individuals out there just receive the land and it's in the area that is citrus aligned in terms of citrus production, and then we are able to do assessment to see how is it going to work out, and then we involve other group of companies like CRI and the cultivar companies to assist with the technical and scientific support and cultivars to be planted in that particular area.
If I understand correctly, the term greenfields, it really means starting from scratch. It's where it's just a plan and you start from scratch.
Yes.
Okay.
And this slide is just to show the spread across the country in terms of our Black producers. per province, and the hectareage planted, and hectareage that is bearing and non-bearing, and also the available land, and some of the farms that are not in use, but they are citrus suitable. Next slide.
Okay. So I just want to just quickly look at this. So just so that, and can people get this information from you, this presentation?
Yes, they can get the presentation through when they ask direct to us, and then so that we can understand the purpose, and then we can share the information with them.
I see. Okay, so I just want to run through. In the Eastern Cape, you've got 34 farms. That total hectareage is that is planted at the moment, or of the farms?
Yes.
Okay, no, that's the total size of the farms, and the total that is planted is 2,054.
Yes.
Okay, and of that bearing, so non-bearing citrus is that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, in citrus, it takes about 7 years for a citrus tree to be in production.
Full production.
You can, in full production. So you can plant the 10 hectares, and you find out from, or the farm, you find out you go to a farm, it's 50 hectares planted. But from the 50 hectares planted, the only bearing hectareage is 30 hectares. 20 hectares is still non-bearing because it's the new plantation.
Okay. Another question is, the far right-hand column, vandalized or non-existing farms. What does that mean?
As I've mentioned, that there are farms in different areas and different regions where they were citrus productive. And those farms, you find out some of them, they had some social issues because of the group farming. And now they become vandalized and become neglected. So we do record in them in our database, because that particular area is it's a citrus production area, and that particular land do belong to a certain group of beneficiaries.
Okay.
I see. Interesting. So if I look at the scale, there's 17 farms sitting in Limpopo that is basically been degraded to non-use. So is the infrastructure mostly still intact? Is it going to take a lot of money and time to invest in those, to get those back to running models again?
If you look at that number, then it will depend per project in terms of its unused, but what is the state of the infrastructure? Because you might find that the infrastructure is still there, but it's dilapidated. So, like, for example, if irrigation is there, but you might find that the pipes and the rest of other pumping, the pumps are old, need to be revamped, and you need to have a new infrastructure. So assessment for rehabilitating those farms, it will be the first step to take, to look at the infrastructure, to look at the orchards, if there are still orchards, and to look at the number of things. And then we can come up with a report to say, this is the state of the farm, this is what is vandalized, this is what is left, this is what is still in good condition, is going to cost this much for these farms to be put into operations again.
Okay, so
and I suppose you also need to, if you are considering rehabilitating farms, you obviously need to look at the management and the ownership and see if there is a willingness and a capability of doing that.
Yes, Louisa, you're right. We do look at all those aspects in terms of ensuring that if these farms are going to be put into operation, what is going to be the institutional arrangement in terms of management at the farm level, and also what is the what is going to happen to a technical support, what is going to happen to the resources, financial resources, and all other aspects. And then we start to say, okay, this one, there's a possibility that it can be up in operation, because some of the boxes, this one business takes a number of boxes. But there are areas whereby you find out this one, what we can recommend, maybe it can be put to lease, and then for operations, and then be supported. Then when institutional and social issues are being sorted, then the beneficiaries and the right structure to manage their business can come back to the farm.
So to ask the obvious question here, can current commercial farmers that are quite big, that's got the financial capabilities, invest in these farms? Go to one of these farms and say, we would like to take over this operation, employ the people on the farm, and the shareholders or the beneficiaries, they will get the benefit from this afterwards. But those beneficiaries are not involved in the daily running and setting up of the business. Can that be done?
It's already happening. If I can answer in simple answer, our commercial farmers, especially in the industry, they do, because if you look at the regions, in all the regions, you'll find out there are commercial farmers and also there are black farmers. So they work hand in hand with other growers in the region. And when it comes to assistance, they do engage with a particular farmer to say, we can come into partnership and provide this kind of assistance and support and ensure that your business doesn't go down to the drain, and they save it. And then over time, they do have their own exit strategies as to say, we'll be exiting from the business after a certain period of time. But just to assist, because when you are farming citrus and they are in a certain regions, there are certain issues that you have to look for that don't affect your neighboring farm. Because if your neighboring farm is neglected, it's going to affect your operations as a neighboring farm. So it is important that they always have that conversation. So to respond to your question, they do, and it's already happening, especially in the side of Limpopo. We have seen commercial farmers partnering with our black farmers to ensure that their business has been saved.
And are you allowed to mention one of them? Maybe give a shout out to somebody that's a role model for doing this. Are you allowed to do that?
There are a group of them, but at this stage, due to Poppy Act, I might not be able to mention them. But there are a number of them that are really involved in the work that you are doing as a development company for development and transformation.
Interesting.
They probably know who they are, so you can say thank you to them anonymously for doing what they do.
They know them. I can call the region in Sanders River Valley, in Limpopo, in Mpumalanga, and some part of the KZN. They know them, that they're doing the good job. And also not only in Sanders River Valley, in Fort Beaufort, and also in Patensi area, they know the commercial farmers, the citrus farmers, that they are doing the good work.
Fantastic.
Wow. Thanks to those guys.
Okay, so indeed. So looking at your table, Lukhanyo, it looks like your biggest hectares under citrus are in Limpopo, followed by the Eastern Cape, and then Mpumalanga, and then KwaZulu-Natal. So it looks like Limpopo is the biggest area for black citrus growers, or the most hectares bearing at the moment, or planted.
Not really. In Limpopo, you've got the biggest number of producers. But in terms of the hectareage, Eastern Cape, you'll find individual farmers who are having a big hectareage, and also in some parcels of KZN, where you find one farmer is sitting at 180 hectares of citrus. So, but in Limpopo, you've got a big number of growers at a small scale, but the number is big. And then you'll find that in the other regions, the number is small, but the hectareage is big. So it varies with the regions where they are residing.
Okay, another question, and this is a very interesting slide that we've got up here. If you look at Limpopo, the amount of farms and hectareage that's gone towards black citrus growers, are those from land reform claims, or what's the other word for it now?
Yes,
restitution.
Restitution. Yeah, a number of them, quite a number of them. I think a chunk of the growers in Limpopo, they're coming from land reform programs, the restitution, the plus, and different programs. But also there are some parcels that are coming from the kings that are in the area that give them permission to occupy.
Okay, so another question on that
comes from the traditional leaders.
And another question on that. So, how many of these farms that was reclaimed back by the government and passed on to the traditional people that used to live there went to people that had no interest in citrus farms, that just happened to get a citrus farm now? Is there any of those kind of cases?
In those instances, Deval, to respond to you, there's quite a big land that has been transferred to the traditional leaders, and some of those lands, they do have pockets of citrus. And when those pockets of citrus, when they receive the land with pocket of citrus, they do approach us and engage with us, and then we see what kind of support that can be provided. As I've mentioned earlier on, that there are commercial farmers who are involved in terms of assisting those beneficiaries who receive those land. Like in Limpopo, there is, I know there's a number of them that commercial farmers are involved in terms of ensuring that operations are taking place in terms of citrus.
Fantastic. That's good to know. Okay,
Indeed.
we can move on, I think.
Yes. In terms of the indicators of success, as you know that we are moving towards 2032. So what we've done internally as a CGA Grower Development Company, we try to put a plan together to say what will be the activities that will take place towards 2032 in order for us to achieve what we want to achieve by 2032. Looking at the current hectareage planted, it's around 7.7 hectareage planted under the black citrus producers. And if we are to reach the 50 million by then, we will need to still plant 17,500 hectares. Therefore, we need to break down as to say how many hectares can we plant annually, and then so that we can be able to realize that. Going back to the table that you showed, Divald, you will see that in Limpopo, quite a number of producers are sitting from 5 to 10 hectares. So the bankable and the viable hectareage for citrus is 20 hectares. So our plan is to look at those farms that are sitting at 5 to 10 to 14 hectares, and also have a way on the criteria of saying that which one do we select, because there must be a land available, they must have water rights or access to water, and also people must be actively involved in the operations. Then we start with those in terms of at least putting them up to 20 hectares so that they can have bankable and viable businesses in terms of the economics of citrus.
Yeah, so, and also where to pack those fruits. And
yes, also we look at the infrastructure in terms of the logistics, the pack houses, the cold storage availability, because when the fruit is planted and is ready, then all that infrastructure need to be in place. So we need to be able to see the flow of the fruit from the farm to the whole value chain up until to the port for export.
So just looking at this one, so the plan is to plant 5,000 hectares in 2024, another 5 in 2025, an additional 5 in 26. The 2027 number of 25,000, is that the target where you want to be in 2027?
Yeah, that is the target, Divald, yes. Because over time we want to make sure that we increase this hectareage so that the hectareage or the land planted citrus under black producers can improve from where it's sitting currently. And only way to do that, because the citrus industry annually invests about 50 million on transformation. And that 50 million, looking at the amount of work that needs to be done in all these farms, is just a drop in the ocean. So our strategy, we partner with the national departments of agriculture, provincial department, and also at the district level, so that we can leverage resources for us to achieve this. Because also, if we achieve this, the department also will achieve its target in terms of the agriculture agro-processing master plan. So that is why there are those partnerships that we spend more time and leverage resources, go rand for rand, and see how much resources are there, so for us to be able to achieve the target that we want to, or we are aiming to achieve by 2032.
Has an estimate been made as to possibly what this could cost?
Yeah, there are estimates there. We do have how much does it cost to establish a citrus sector in different regions with a certain cultivars. So we do have the estimate, and as we speak now, we are also having citrus development plans per province, as to say, in this province, if we are to embark on plantation, how much will resources we need in order for us to do that, and how much hectares will be planted annually. so that we can also be able to engage with other value chains like the nurseries to make the trees available, so that when the planting season arrives, we do have citrus ready for plantation. So we do have those citrus development plans in different provinces that we are in partnership with.
Okay, I've got more questions. So, I presume you guys have made a study as to what cultivars and varieties you are planning to plant in this. Do you have the numbers off the top of your head about what that kind of split will be? For instance, 50% soft citrus, 25 oranges, 25 lemons. That kind of, do you have that kind of numbers?
No, I don't have that the numbers on top of my head, but in terms of the cultivars, as you are mentioning, we are working very close with the CGA cultivar company and the CRI for us to advise, so that when we do cultivar selection, we do a proper cultivar selection per region, and also it's in line with the market. Because you can plant the cultivar, but after the production, when it's in full production, will the market still want that fruit type? So what is going to happen if the market doesn't want that? So there's that collaboration. That is why in my first slide, I showed the group of companies to show that we are working close with all the group of companies in terms of achieving what we want to achieve at the end of the day. So we do engage and see to say, these are the cultivars, and do projection. These are the cultivars that the market is looking at. And if we plant now, by 2032, all this fruit will be on the road, on the vessels to different destinations of the markets.
Okay, so my next, Louise, do you want to ask something?
No, go ahead.
My next question is, if I look at these numbers, and if I happen to be a commercial farmer that is that's busy watching what we're talking about, I would get quite excited, because there's an opportunity, because there will be help from you guys, there will be help from CGA, there will be help from the department in growing my my footprint, be it with a black farmer in Limpopo, for instance, but I will get help to increase my farm or my commercial operation. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, if you look at the demand, when it comes to the market demand, I think Justin mentioned in one of his newsletters in terms of the market demand, because everything is going to be driven by market demand, and see how much volumes the different market destination want, and how many hectares planted, and how many fruit are bearing, and how many fruit will be bearing in the next 3 to 5 years. And are we going to really meet the demand out there in terms of the market? And in terms of expanding and exploring other activity, then it will be informed by that report to say, okay, this is what we can do now for us to be able to go ahead with this expansion. But also, as you mentioned, the infrastructure at the packhouse level, and also cold storage, and also transportation, logistics, and the conditions in terms of the logistics, and also at the ports, if the conditions and management at the port will be able to manage the volumes that will be coming when they are in production.
But what I want to say is that if a commercial farmer is looking at this and he says, all right, there need to be, just in 2024, another additional 5,000 hectares planted in South Africa. They have got some capital to invest, but they don't have the capital or the land to do that where they are currently. Let's say it's a grower in the Western Cape that want to expand his footprint, but he's in an area where oranges, for instance, don't do well. But he can now, along with you guys, invest in a farm in Limpopo with help from the department and you guys so he's technically going to save costs on plant material and irrigation and infrastructure with the help that's going to be given to these growers. Is that a possibility out there?
Yeah, there is a possibility of that, because what we look at also, not only to say that we always encourage partnerships, but as we encourage partnership, we encourage that as the industry, we are being brought in from the beginning, so that we understand that this is a good partnership, and everyone involved understand what kind of partnership they're involved in, and what are the benefits of this partnership. And the planning and resource lobbying and mobilization of resources, everyone understand, and everyone benefit at the end of the day. then that we do encourage and we do M&E in terms of ensuring that all parties are involved, are still sticking to the initial agreement and the initial partnership, and they still understand the issues internally. And if there are certain emergencies that it requires them to convene and review their contract or their partnership, and they can call us on board so that we can provide our advice to say, given the current situation, we advise you that to move this direction. But we do encourage such partnership because we always believe that in farming, you learn from other farmers that are in your area. You might find out one black farmer is in a certain area, but is lacking there's some shortage of skills in different areas, and the other partner is bringing that skill to the business, and then the business will be financial sustainable. Because what is important at the end, we want to see financial sustainable businesses and also profitable businesses out there.
Lukhanyo,
yes,
thank you for that. I'm looking at the slide, and while it is very exciting to see this, it's also quite, if I may say, it seems quite ambitious. And I know one has to start somewhere with planning. What do you think? You think you guys are going to be able to reach this? You think there's enough will and resources out there to do this? What is your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is that Louisa, you need to plan. Either way, you need to plan, and you need to put targets for yourself. And the ambition need to be there when you're planning, and you need to have your ambitions. And after that, you then need to say, who is going to partner with me to achieve this? And as I've mentioned that, as much as that how ambitious we are, in this instant, also the government through the agro-processing master plan is ambitious of the output of the black producers. That simply means that there will be a coordination in terms of resources to achieve the targets that the industry and the government want to achieve. And at the end of the day, the agricultural sector benefit and achieve their targets at the end of the day. Going back to the agro-processing master plan, on the chapter on transformation, there is a part that talks on production schemes, of which we believe as the industry that we will benefit from those production schemes. Currently, we're working with the National Agriculture Marketing Council. We have put together the concept note on the citrus production scheme, and the concept note is done. And after that concept note, we will present to the principal of the department because it's in line with the agro-processing master plan. After presenting that, we will then lobby other partners to come on board and lobby resources so that at the end of the day, we are able to achieve what we want to achieve. So through that citrus production scheme, we feel strongly that with the resources that are being put forward by the industry and the resources will coming from the government and also other development agencies and also with the banks that have appetite to partner with us, we will be able to achieve. But in an event to say that we haven't achieved, but we have done something, we would have reached a certain margin or certain a number that we were wishing to achieve.
Yeah, fantastic. One must plan, and you must look ahead, and you must be ambitious. And here's wishing you every luck with that.
Yeah.
They say you must aim for the stars and hopefully you land on the moon.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Do you want to move on?
Yes, we can move on. As we're planning, doing all what we're doing in terms of Vision 50, we are also looking at what are the limitations or what are the challenges that we have already have identified there. We've got a program and we've got the grant funding of the enterprise development funding that we receive from the CGA annually, that we support our producers in terms of different areas of support, being fertilizer, new plantation, infrastructure at farm, packing cost, and all other costs that are operational that will assist the growers, the operation at the farm level. But those resources are not enough. That is why now this citrus production scheme might come to help and come to play and lobby other stakeholders at the provincial level or development agencies that want to partner with us to work with us so that what we want to achieve, we can achieve at the end of the day. So Access to finance and limited finance is one of the challenges that we've identified. But also, we've looked at the farm level that some of the farmers, they also have challenge of the working capital. And it comes back to what Devil was saying, that if a commercial farmer want to then partner with this black farmer in the area, that is more than welcome, because then it will assist, it will be bringing some resources to the farm's operation, and we encourage that. And it should be a good and working good relation and a very transparent relation in terms of the operations at the farm level. Some of the farmers, most of our black farmers who are already exporting, they are being supported by the exporting agencies in terms of the operational cost. And some of the exporting agencies, they are pulling out due to some different reasons. And regarding that now, that is why we are trying by all means to see where can we assist in terms of the working capital and see how can we assist our producers. The other issue that we are working with the national department and the provincial department is the water allocation to some of these farms. Because if you have looked at what we are aiming in terms of new plantations, we need to have enough water availability, and that is made available for these farms. So, but we are working with the national department and provincial department to engage with our sister department, that is the Department of Water and Sanitation, in terms of, look, how can we work better in terms of ensuring that we speed up the process of this water allocation and water licenses. And also, if I go around the regions and I go around the north and south region, I do observe that quite a number of trees need replacement, because some of the orchards, you'll find out that the trees are old and they are not giving you the yield that you might want to have at the end of the day. So there's a program that we will have to embark on in terms of tree replacement. So you might find out we might not be quickly moving to the target of the hectares planted, but also replacing some of the trees that are old that are there on the farms. And some, as I've mentioned, I think I've spoken a lot around the healthy joint ventures and partnerships, that also at times we struggle to get enough information. But now we're working very close with them to try and see that how is their partnership, how is their joint venture structured, and how can we get information in terms of the black component and the contribution coming from the black component to that partnership. So it's one area that we are also working on. And other challenges, there are just challenges that are cut across to even commercial farmers and any farmers, and the cost of the operation at the farm level. So these are the challenges. And as we put these challenges there, we put them in front of us so that we understand that these are the issues that we are faced with, but also to put together a strategy as to say, how do we then overcome this? And how do we move forward by overcoming this? What strategy must we employ for us to have a positive outcome out of these challenges?
Lukhanyo, I've got a comment here from somebody on LinkedIn. It says, hi, Lukhanyo. Are there any tenders or opportunities for companies to assist the existing farmers and green farms with the various audits and compliances on these farms, which will assist with the export of the fruits?
In terms of audits and compliance, there are a number of service providers that we are working with that are doing that are accredited. Because that's another thing that Louis and it's important is we must have the accredited service providers that know how to do the job. It's like what we looked at annually. All the farmers, we always advise them through our study groups and information day that when you're about to do new plantation, you need to look at the list of accredited nurseries, so that you don't buy wrong material, planting materials to wrong service providers. So there are a number of service providers that we work with that are accredited, that they've been on the game and they've been doing the work in terms of accreditation. As we are not doing accreditation ourselves, but what we do, we make sure that our growers, they are Global Gap accredited and they are CGA accredited. So we do work with different service providers, and also working with different service providers. One of our programs is to lobby resources on those accreditation so that we have enough resources that we can be able to employ to assist our growers to be accredited.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, I've responded to, it's Alheid de Toy from Skyvines in environmental health and safety company. So
Yeah,
all right, if you missed this, we are at minute 45 where we discussed this. Anyway, I've replied to you, and the comment didn't come through in our comment section here, so that's why I've read it from my phone. Thank you, Lukhanyo. Should we move on?
Yes, we can move on. The roadmap to Vision 50, it's a 10-year program, and we are going to use our enterprise development funding for all the activities that we'll be doing. And with this funding that is annually, we call upon any partner who would want to partner with us, rent for rent. It's a grant funding that we can put out there, and then we do have a plan and a program in place that all the resources will be directed straight to the plan that we've planned to implement. And also in terms of our alignment with the CITRA scheme, as I've mentioned, the concept note is finalized. Now what we're going to do is ensure that all other parties from at the provincial level, development agencies, the banks who want to partner with us with this citrus production scheme can come on board, and then we can have a discussion as to say what resources are we bringing on board and what projects are we going to handle and manage. I'm sure you know that we've been implementing the Jobs Fund, and also the Job Fund contributed to our Vision 50, and there are quite a number of black businesses that benefited from the Job Fund program, and also we are making inroads in terms of ensuring that the output coming from those businesses that were supported through Job Fund contribute or are being counted towards the Vision 50. Some of the farms that were supported through the Job Funds, some of them, they are going to be start bearing fruit. They are going to be start to be in season in this year and the following year. And they're very massive. And looking at those projects, that is why we are ambitious, and we've got courage to say we will reach what we want to reach. Looking at the volumes that will be coming from those projects.
Fantastic.
Funded. Yes. And also working with government, there's land development support programs. There are citrus farms that are benefiting from this program, and also this program contributes to what we want to achieve at the end of the day. There are farms in KZN that are benefiting from this program, farms in the Eastern Cape, and also farms in the Northwest that are benefiting from this program. And we thank our partnership with government, because if the government was not in partnership with us, even in our job farms, we would have not achieved what we have achieved to date in terms of increasing the acreage, increasing the yield and the output coming from our black growers. So our partnership with government is very important, and it really shows that we can leverage from the resources that we have, because we've got one client and one customer to service. That is a farmer that can be able to put food on the table 3 times a day. And also we will have legacy project, whereby there are projects that we identify to say, these are the projects that if you invest or you put these resources, this project will stand on its own, and it can move from where it was to a positive direction. And capacity development for compliance, I've mentioned the compliance, I think, many a time, that we capacitate our growers regarding that, because it's important. Compliance is important, and accreditation it's important, especially ethical and also global, because your fruit cannot move to other different destinations if you don't have this accreditation. Therefore, the markets will be there and be open, but you don't have accreditation, and you will be having a good quality fruit, but due to a non-compliance, then you are unable to export your fruit. And also we are strengthening our monitoring and evaluation tool in terms of looking at the progress. So we're working very close with the BFAP, and we've got a platform where we onboard all our businesses so that we can look at the financial and sustainability of our businesses that we are supporting. So we are emphasizing, we're strengthening that to ensure that at the end of the day, at least all businesses that were supported, there's a return on investment.
Okay.
Very interesting. Okay, let's go to the next slide.
These are the projects, as mentioned before, the land development support from the government that will contribute to Vision 50, that support Vision 50, and the agro-processing master plan through the citrus production scheme that is going to be in place. And also we're working with the River Bioscience and the Exit, one of the group of companies, in terms of having a holistic integrated pest management program for our growers in different regions. That will ensure that the yield is up, there's less fruit fly, or there's management or controls of the fruit fly out there. So we're working very close with them, and in partnership with the National Department, as I've mentioned, and also the National Agriculture Marketing Council, assist us in terms of ensuring that the AMP does not fail, but we succeed, and collectively the industry succeed in terms of ensuring that this program yield positive results. And a critical success factor is the appointment of other citrus experts within the internally, so that when we respond to our growers, we don't take forever. We respond immediately with people that have a skill that is aligned to the industry. And also the private sector. Currently, we are in talks with the Standard Bank. They are interested of putting a facility that will benefit our black producers. So we are in discussion with them, and we are busy with the due diligence, and also that will form part of AMP. When after things have been done, it will form part of the citrus production scheme, so that we know that we've got collective, or we've got a one-stop shop of all resources, and with different projects to be implemented. And then with also a capacity from the industry, from the department, and from the National Agriculture Marketing Council to ensure that this becomes a success. I've mentioned the job fund that is underway, it's under implementation, that we are already seeing the positive outcome out of it in terms of job creations, and also in terms of the positiveness at the farm level to all the farms that have been supported with the resources coming from the job fund. So we're starting to see positiveness when it comes to the job fund project.
Excellent.
Mentioning the key performance indicators is to increase the number of planted hectares I've mentioned, increase the total volumes. It's important that we always see how much volumes out of the exported annually, out of exported and out of fruit sent to local and out of fruit sent for juicing, how much volumes are coming from the black growers. It's very important, and we are monitoring that. We collect that information because it assists us in terms of our planning. And also we're looking at increasing the number of exporting producers. So we design programs that all those who have a potential to be exporting to then move from non-exporting to exporting. But those who feel comfortable that local and juicing still fine with them, we just provide support and encourage them to run their business as profitable as they can. And also increase the number of enterprising, achieving the yield 40 hectare per ton. But that's another thing that is important. I think I've mentioned that some of the challenges around the hectareage output is that you find out the trees are very old. Now there's a need for the replacement, because now you don't reach what is expected output per the norms and standard of the industry in terms of what is expected output per ton.
Okay.
I've got some questions, but we can chat to it after this. It's pertaining to all of this, but it's some obvious questions I've got that we can get to in a couple of minutes.
Okay, I think this is the last slide, so we can handle that.
Okay, you can carry on with this one, and then we can.
So the way forward has mentioned that we strengthen the capacity within GDC. I think, Louis, you know that. As you mentioned in the beginning, that I've been working alone when I was a transformation manager. Now yes. The staff complement. Yeah, now the staff complement, we've got about 9, and we are currently doing a recruitment of an information officer. Because if we are going to deal with this project, we need to have a person that is going to receive information, clean the information, interpret the information, put the statistics, so that that information can advise us as to say, moving forward, what is the plan now? Because this is where we are sitting. And this is coming from the information that we have gathered and the data that we have gathered, and it talks us and assists us in terms of our planning and in terms of the programs that we want to embark on as things change on different places in terms of the value chain and other things. And
so what will that person do? Will they actually go from grower to grower and just have a chat to them, gather the information, and then come back, or how would they do that?
Yeah, so what is happening at the industry deals with a lot of information. And that information, when it's cleaned up and interpreted, it assists us in terms of our planning. So the extension personnel, because we do have extension people that are working with our growers, that provide technical support to our growers. We do have business people that are working with our growers that assist with compliance and business plans review and looking at other areas that the businesses need to be assisted with. And then they have all this information that requires to be looked at and be cleaned up. And then when we board that information to the facility that we have with BFAP, we're able to say Farm A, the strategy for Farm A, for it to be productive, to be profitable and sustainable, these are the areas that need to take place. These are the support that will be required. So that report that will be coming from the information person, after collecting that data, it will be able to inform us as to say what kind of support is really required by different farmers in different areas. For example, we've got farmers, about 5 farmers in Northwest. The information collected and the outlook of Northwest, when the information officer have looked at the outlook and everything, will be able to tell us that there's this common challenges in these 5 farms. And this is a recommended support that the grower development company and other parties can come on board to assist those farmers. So the person is going to be able to have that interpretation of all the information coming at the farms.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Well, good luck. I hope you find the right person.
Thanks.
Okay, is that it for the slideshow?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.
And just exit this.
Thank you very much. It sounds like you guys have made incredible progress, and with all the government, with all the different schemes that you have assisting you, everyone is contributing something towards the success of the black citrus farmers. And good luck with that. And we really hope that we'll chat to you again and see how Vision50 is going. A couple of, as you move on in the years, we'll chat to you again and listen and hear how it's going.
Thanks a lot, Louise. We will come back again and share with you the statistics as to say where are we standing now in terms of Vision50, how much has been contributed by our growers, and how much is the difference, and what are the plans and what are the things or activities that will be involved in to ensure that we achieve the target that we put before us.
Okay, good luck. So I think Deval's got some questions. So there you go. Now you're going to get questions.
No problem.
Okay, so a question I've got, and I think it's not just me that's got this question. What is being seen in the industry as a black farmer? Is it black people owning a business being run by other people, or is it people that are actually hands-on on the farm working every day?
From the industry perspective, what we always encourage is that the black citrus farmer is a farmer that have acquired land and is actively involved in the operation of the farm and is working at the farm. In some instances, if a black farmer is having some shortfalls in terms of operation, as I've mentioned before, partnership or mentoring by a commercial farmer in the region is encouraged so that we can be able to have this farm profitable and be run properly and be able to make profit at the end of the day.
Okay, and why I'm asking that is because you often see in the news that some government official now owns a farm in the Free State where the poor animals are skinny and dying, and nobody has done anything to it. So, but that person is still somewhere on a tick box classifies as a black farmer. So that's just why I'm curious about what is the GDC see as a black farmer in your industry.
Yeah, as I've mentioned, that we see the black farmer as a person that is actively involved. But in an event that there's a farmer that have decided to have a farm manager that happen, or a commercial farmer to run the operation at his business, that is still acceptable as long as he's involved also in the operation. Because remember, there are times you find a person just occupy a land and know nothing about farming. because I always believe that if you look at farming, it's about inheritance. You look at the people that are involved in farming, some of them, they started when they were young. And I'm pleased to say to you that what I've observed with our black farmers in KZN, the Eastern Cape, I've observed that most of their young kids are involved in the operation. In the Eastern Cape, there's a young girl who's been working with his father in the farm. Now is managing the pack house that is owned by 3 black farmers that were supported by government. That is very encouraging. You find others that are involved in logistics. You find others that are involved in other operations of the business, because you build up that capacity. Because if you look at also the number of the farmers in our database, some of them are aging, and they need to build up that capacity. And they do build up that capacity, because what I also like about them, if there's a commercial farmer who is running the farm, the kids are working with the commercial farmer so that they can learn their operations at the farm level.
Yes, and also we often see with commercial farmers, and we get around to a lot of different places, not just citrus farmers, is that often the kids, they don't want to be called a farmer, so they go study marketing degree or a chartered accountant degree, but yet they are still part of the farming business.
Yeah, and that's what I always encourage to say. If you are to involve, or if you are to talk about youth in agriculture, I don't think it should be limited to primary production. But primary production is important for them to understand the primary production. But if they've studied logistic, marketing, accounting, they still can come back and invest in the business by working in the business in terms of the skills that they've studied. But I don't believe, because also, if you look at the value chains, they can work in the pack house, they can work in the vessels, in logistics, in any different value chain, pieces of value chain. So it's not to limit them to the primary production. And if you look at the youth of today, they are very innovative. They like technology. They like to work with drones to say, it's fine, I will go to the farm tomorrow, but now I can look and observe what is happening at the farm using the drone. So we need to encourage that. As much as that they are exposed to such technology, they can still come and work at the farm.
I've got 2 questions left, and one is about young people, but I'll get to that one secondly. So in terms of this vision and the funds that could be available and investment in this industry, how can there be investment that will go through to, what I see is, let's say there's somebody who's possibly a black person or previously disadvantaged person that now want to go into exporting or into logistics or into drones, as you say, or whatever the story is. Can they become a part of the GDC to help this, to reach this target? But they are not a grower.
For Vision50, the resources that we are lobbying is for us to get a good output at farm level.
Okay.
So the main focus is for us to get a good output at farm level in terms of the produce, because the counting are based on the produce coming from the farm in terms of the 3 marketing segment. But in terms of other technologies that assist the operations at farm level, it's a different discussion, that one. But for us, we are making a point that all resources that we can lobby should be focusing on our vision and the output that will be coming from the farm at the farm level.
Yes. Okay. So my last question about the youth. And this is for all youth, be they black or white or colored youth, they all think the same. Everybody wants to be a CEO and drive around in a flat black Mercedes and earn a lot of money. And everybody thinks that farming is for the old people. How should we get? What's your message to young people that want to get involved with this?
Okay. Maybe let me start by saying that for you to have money, you must get your hands dirty.
Yes.
And agriculture is dirty. And as I'm saying that, I think we should not be limiting agriculture to primary production at the farm level. Because most of the youth, they look at agriculture and like, this is slavery mentality, or they look at their parents or the farmers, black farmers that are in front of them that are farming now, the way they are struggling, and they are like, I don't want anything, I don't want to struggle. But if we find the best way of marketing agriculture as something that young people can be involved in, and try to come up with different innovation and try to come up with different strategies, try to change the mindset. Because at the end of the day, when we have changed the mindset, I mean the young ones that I'm mentioning now that are working at the farms with their parents, along their parents, they were never interested in farming. But now they are more interested than even their parent. Because it takes over time. And what I would also encourage is to say, rather than having the exhibitions in the towns, in urban areas, whereby there's exhibition to say, this is what we study in agriculture, take them to the farm. Move them along at the farm. Take them around the farm, because they're going to learn a lot allow them to ask more questions. And after asking those questions, they'll be able to also be innovative enough to say, but why don't you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Then by doing so, and that thing, you start, I'm happy that Citrus Academy have introduced the high school agricultural program.
Yes.
I'm very happy about that, because now it says at the high school level, you take them to the farm. And you go around, you move around, you show them the whole value chain. And then they choose to say, okay, I'm going to be in an agricultural sector, but I think I love most about primary production. I want to be there in the farm. Then the other one said, I think after you have taken them to the farm, you take them to all the pieces of the value chain, the pack house, the vessels. You show them the packaging. Because you find out that you've got limited people that are working in the packaging and everything. Then once you start to take them through, and that should be a program that all schools adopt.
Yes.
To say for exposure, for learners' exposure in terms of agriculture, this is what we are going to do. And then they can partner with industries in terms of that exposure. I want to believe industries won't say no in terms of the young learners be brought in. At the end of the day, when they are doing their grade 12, they know exactly where they want to, because you'll find out that now they learn a lot. Like some of the Citrus Academy students that are funded by the Citrus Academy bursaries, when they are working their time to the industry in different pack houses and in different farms, they come up with different stories. Because now they've learned a lot. So you can have them in the classroom and then have them at the farms in different farming space. But as I was saying, that in order for them to drive those black Mercedes-Benz, they must get their hands dirty.
And the Mercedes-Benz doesn't drive on the gravel road.
No. They must buy buggies if they want to go there.
Lukhanyo, it's been incredibly interesting, and it's exciting and ambitious, and that's the way it should be. And it's also interesting that if I think about the first time I started to work with the citrus industry and look into empowerment was 2004. So we are 20 years down the road. And, another word for a new farmer, sometimes people call them first generation farmers. And what you are saying is they are now the second generation. They are there. I've met them. The people that you mentioned, I have met some of them in the Eastern Cape. And so it is, we are moving on, and empowerment is coming of age. So good luck with that.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Louise.
Yes.
It's a pleasure. So we will say goodbye to you, but don't ring off yet. We'll just go off live and we'll chat to you when we are done.
Yeah.
Do you want to just finish up?
Any closing remarks that you want to leave to the industry?
The closing remarks that I want to leave with the industry is that, firstly, I want to thank all the commercial farmers for the kind of support that they've been providing in terms of at the farm level, and also all the growers who have contributed to the levy for us to be able to achieve the work that we are doing today. Continue to do the good job. We will continue ensure that transformation and development and inclusive participation of our black growers is realized in this country. Thanks.
Thank you, Lukhanyo.
Thank you very much, guys.
Right.
Okay, we'll